and aggravated mayhem.
Even if it is temporary insanity that you caused by taking a drug.
Yeah, you've done it yourself.
So fuck off.
Yeah, you've done it yourself, so he basically mutilates her entire body. He eats part of her. They didn't know that he had eaten parts of her. She was that destroyed and mangulated that the only way they found out that he had eaten parts of her is that when they were doing a medical exam on him and they emptied the contents of his stomach, they made him vomit and all this kind of stuff. There was flesh in his stomach that didn't belong to him. So they found lumps of meat and they thought it might be a tongue, his tongue or lips or whatever. But no, it was external to his body. So when he was eating her, like biting her and killing her and rolling around in her mutilated body.
Are you happy now, murdery podcast people? You happy? Is this what you want?
For real. This is gross. Yeah, she had the lungs torn from her chest.
Come on, stop saying that. Say something else. Say a nice thing. No, don't say a nice thing, but say something different.
Yeah, I will say that song, Texas Boy, is actually alright. It is alright. For that style of music, it's alright. But yeah, he's serving life in prison now.
There's no excuse for what he did.
No, there is none. That's a terrible, awful human. He went to prison in 2003 and he is still there. And he'll be there forever.
Good.
So that's Big Lurch.
Eating a different kind of meat.
Yeah. What's your next one?
My next one is Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
Famous drummer from Derek and the Dominoes, Eric Clapton's band.
Yep. How many bands did Eric Clapton have?
6 million.
Jesus.
Yeah, just under 6 million.
Were any of them good, bar cream?
Derek and the Dominoes are alright.
Really? Just alright.
The other one he was in. The Jam. Going underground. Listen, this is the session drummer you had to have, Jim Gordon.
He's the guy.
Everly Brothers, George Harrison, John Lennon, Steely Dan, Joe Cocker, Frank Zappa, Harry Nilsson, Alice Cooper. He was a drummer on Pet Sounds.
That's the lad.
And he was, we mentioned before, Gene Clark did him as well. Not did him. Oh, Jesus. He started, he's absolutely incredible drummer. He's the one you got, basically. And he's in Derek and the Dominoes for a while, but his schizophrenia started to show around the time he was on Joe Cocker's tour in the early 70s, where he reportedly punched his girlfriend, who was Rita Coolidge. And then that was obviously that relationship over. But that's sort of a sign of what's up with this lad. That's not, I know it's the 70s, but still, that's not.
He's not 100% this lad.
No. So then I don't think he's doing a huge amount really in the early 80s, except for killing his ma, which he did with a hammer and then stabbed her with a butcher knife because he claimed a voice told him to. Now that is schizophrenia. So it's only after his arrest, I think, that he was properly diagnosed with schizophrenia. But at the trial, they accepted that he had schizophrenia, but because of a law that was passed in California, it meant that he couldn't get off with that. He just has to go to prison. Whatever. I couldn't really find much about the Insanity Defence Reform Act. And to be honest with you, I wasn't going to read a massive amount into it. All I know is that
I'm going to tell you right now, that is, once I read that in an article, I'm not going.
No, I could have clicked it.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Imagine.
I'm not going to read that.
Imagine.
And anyway, whatever it was, he couldn't.
You would learn that, and like good stuff would be pushed out.
I was afraid the rest of the stuff being pushed out. Exactly. My brain has only got it's small. It's a small.
Yeah.
It's like the mini Tupperwares.
Yeah.
That's my brain is. So I have to be very careful about what I start reading into and writing down. In 1984, he sentenced to 16 years life in prison. Here's where it gets sort of strange in terms of him trying to get off, or at least be diagnosed properly and get put into something a little bit less prisony. He was first eligible for parole in 1991. So between 91 and 2018, last year, he was attempting all the time to get out.
That's a big stretch.
It's a huge stretch. But here's the thing. In 2005, which is roughly around the middle of that, is it?
Yeah.
One of the things he said during the thing was, "No, my man's still alive."
Oh, really?
So you fucked that up.
Oh.
So he's still there. Now he's now been. They said, I think last year.
Is he in a prison or is he in a mental institute?
He's in a prison, as far as I know. Which is kind of mad if you're schizophrenic.
Yeah.
You'd want to be putting. Does that not then become a mental institution if you're in the war?
I know wards. There are mental wards in prisons.
Yeah.
But I think once you go past a particular point, you need
of violence,
a specific
Fair
type
enough.
of care.
Yeah. So he is still looking for a parole, and there's been a few interviews with him where he sounds quite. I read some of the interviews where he was like, "Yeah, listen. I don't remember much of it. It was all a blur," which sounds like schizophrenia. But Jesus Christ, I mean, that's just the way it is. But saying in 2005 at a hearing, no, she's still alive, man. That's gonna fuck you up, and he's still there. So here's your next one.
Fucking hell! What's the song?
Layla, because Layla Derrick.
Yeah, they know.
I wasn't like that's not one of them. That wouldn't be one of the more important ones. Yeah.
Okay. Right. I got another rapper, and
I skipped over my rapper.
Did you?
I have to go back to him. It's a very short one though because there's nothing on him and he's nobody. But sorry, go on.
This rapper, it's JD, and he was with a group called the Lynch Mob. The Lynch Mob would have been Ice Cube's kind of proteges. Once Ice Cube left NWA, and he had a couple of. The Lynch Mob was his first foray into having like a posse, like a rap posse. Eventually, we ended up with West Side Connection, which is, I think, the best thing that was ever done.
They're really good.
Those two albums are just outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. The greatest output by Ice Cube was always being the West Side Connection stuff. But JD, one of the rappers in the Lynch Mob. Now, it's kind of interesting because it's another kind of girlfriend cheating on him story. And it gets more and more complicated. His girlfriend had another couple of roommates as well. And he thought that the girlfriend was cheating with one of the roommates again. So instead of killing the girlfriend, he killed the roommate. Goes over to the house and kills the roommate. I do not know, once again, how he killed the roommate. I don't know.
With mortar.
With
mortar as a weapon.
With a little mortar, yeah. What's interesting is that at the same time that this was happening, another member of the Lynch Mob, T-Bone, was being charged with murder as well. Now, he was able to get away with it. Something happened.
The Warden liked the first album.
Quite possibly. But his charge was acquitted.
I said the Warden. He wouldn't have got to the Warden stage.
Yeah. JD's was not. It was not.
No.
And he is still in there. So he's doing a little slice of forever. Once again, life in prison. But he was charged with murder. His girlfriend, the guy's name, his name was Scott Charles, I believe his name was. Scott Charles, yeah, was the guy he killed. I don't know how he killed him. I think it was a gun. I think, from something I read online, I think he shot him. The Lynch Mob done 2 albums. The first one is called Gorillas in the Mist, which I have to say is fucking incredible. It's very good. This is pre-murder also, so you're allowed to like it. It's very, very good.
But he had murder on the mind.
Yeah, he was in a gangster rap posse, so most certainly every song was about that type of shit.
Don't be judgmental now.
Well, I'd love to hear a gangster rap album about fucking unicorns. But,
actually, so would I.
Exactly. Gorillas in the Mist is super. It is not on Spotify.
Right.
It's not on Spotify. Their second album was called King of the Jungle. It was just after this album was released that this murder charge happened. King of the Jungle is on Spotify, so this song I picked is that's from King of the Jungle, which is decent, but it's not as good. The production on the album is very kind of Cypress Hillish,
right?
Which is what's kind of weird. It would have been almost pre-Cypress Hill, or at least as they were starting to come out, early 90s, 1993, I believe. And so you can hear these weird jazzy samples in there. The song itself is pretty good. The album before it is much better. But yeah, this is another scumbag that went over and just
don't worry about that. We're talking about the Midas.
Yeah.
Oh, the Midas.
Mida. Speaking of rappers, fucking Ja Rule didn't kill anyone. Talks about Mida a lot though.
Nearly killed all those people in the Fire Festival.
Imagine. That's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to rich people in the world. This is a scumbag by his own volition, not through his acts, But yeah, charged with murder, life in prison. At the same time this was happening, T-Bone gets away with it. Again, another fucking scumbag that just took someone else's life into his own hands that had absolutely no fucking...
And didn't cradle it. Threw it on the ground.
Exactly. Having none of it. Shot the poor bastard for doing nothing.
Doing nothing.
And actually, I don't know that. He might have been cheating. I don't know. Even if he was, that's still not an excuse. Do you know what I mean?
No.
There's zero excuse for that. Hit someone a clatter if you have to. But don't be fucking swinging bullets at them. Like,
show people that you battered him.
Yeah, exactly. That way nobody'll ever cheat in your mouth ever again. Like, fucking hell. Right, here's your
knocking
next
down on that.
No.
I skipped one over, so we'll go back to it.
Go back.
It's a very, very short one because he's an absolute nobody rapper. Sorry, not to be a dick.
That's all right.
But the story was quite interesting because Rad Diggs, and I had to he's not even really on Spotify, he's on a track that's on Spotify. So the person we picked isn't the murderer, although he might be. not going to put it there. Rapper Rad Diggs, aka Ronald Heron, was found guilty on 21 federal charges, including 3 murders. Now, how he was caught was literally the evidence was his own music.
Really?
Prosecutor says here, prosecutors, right? He was a leader in a Bloods gang and ran like drugs operations and stuff like that. He was too candid in his songs, so they literally just put all the lyrics up and the videos and stuff like that. He was in a few videos like Waka Flock of Flame. Can't even say it. Yeah. Walk the Hall of Fame. His defense was that this is all fictional accounts of his life in Brooklyn. Yeah. But they were like, yeah, but it's so close to everything that happened that you're fucked. And he got done for it. So that's Rad Diggs. I'm not going to dwell too much on him, but I just thought it was interesting that his own music was that caught him.
Weird.
His own.
He literally ratted himself out.
That song I put on is not bad, actually.
It's alright.
That rock riff. I'm looking at a rock riff.
It's a nice use of a good guitar in a rap song. It's rare, yeah. But when it's done really well. I just want to go, as you go back, I just want to go back and say that the Big Lurch thing,
yeah,
what complicates things even more is that how they found out about the PCP was that the girl who was killed, that Big Lurch killed, her boyfriend claimed that the girl and Big Lurch had been smoking PCP together.
Right.
For a couple of days. So whatever the fucking big mix-up is there.
So hopefully at least she may not have felt any of that.
Hopefully, Jesus Christ.
Oof.
Ooh, the grimness.
Who's your next one? Because Rad Diggs, very short story about
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just bang through him. Sid Vicious.
Oh yeah.
Now there were. Here's the thing. Little disclaimer: people will defend Sid Vicious to the end of the earth. Right? There's not that much proof that he actually killed Nancy Spungen. Right? It's one of these great punk rock music conspiracies. Really and truly. So. Sid Vicious was born John Simon Ritchie, 1957. He was the replacement for Glenn Matlock in the Sex Pistols.
Really? I thought they were in together. That goes to show much I know about punk.
So Glenn Matlock basically wrote all the Sex Pistols songs.
Right.
And he fucked off before the album Nevermind the Bollocks was just starting to be recorded.
Yeah.
Now, the rumour is that there's only one song on Nevermind the Bollocks that Sid Vicious actually played on. Right? And that was Bodies, which is a song I picked, which the Sex Pistols are fine, but I think Bodies is the best song that the Sex Pistols have
ever
put out.
I do like that song. I'm not a big fan.
They're fine. They were more important than good, I think, but I think that Bodies is their greatest song. Now, the rumour is that Sid Vicious actually played on this album. They reckon he was supposed to play on the album, but he was hospitalised with hepatitis. So Glenn Matlock was dealing with, I don't think, Glenn Matlock might have put a couple of tracks down, but I think the guitarist ended up putting the bass lines down on the album. Again, the whole thing is cloaked in fucking mystery, and it depends on who you talk to, what they tell you.
Because a lot of, like John Lydon, you never know what's really going to come out. He doesn't really talk much about it, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. You'd probably be a lying fucking anyway. So, okay, here we go. Now, Sid Vicious is an awful fucking junkie. He's a junkie because of his mother.
All the drugs.
Take a slug out of that can before we get into this.
You're taking a deep breath as well.
Okay, so Sid Vicious's mother has a drug issue. He has a drug issue. The two of them have a drug issue together. So, while he's trying to give up drugs all the time, he keeps failing. He ends up being sent to Rikers Island to rehab.
His mother was...
His mother's a junkie as well. I don't think she started off as a junkie. I think the father left, and whatever way it turned out, she ended up turning to gear and drugs and all sorts of fucking mad shit. Now, he ends up going to Rikers Island to go to rehab. So, his girlfriend, Nancy Spungen, is waiting for him to get out. He finally gets released from rehab. I believe he's collected from Rikers Island by Jerry Only.
Right.
From the Misfits.
Misfits, yeah.
And they go...
I know things.
Exactly. They go and have a big fucking party. I think the party is in... it's in the Hotel Chelsea. In their bedroom, I think. It could have been somewhere else. I'm not entirely sure. The Hotel Chelsea ends up being the site of Nancy's death. She's stabbed and killed. Now, she's stabbed and killed by a knife that Sid owns.
Right. It's not looking good for you,
It's not
Sid.
looking great.
It's not looking
for
good for you,
Sid.
Sid.
Now,